In every age, there are voices that cut through time, carrying wisdom powerful enough to transform how we think and live. Among them, Socrates stands eternal, a man who challenged us not to accept life at face value, but to question, to reflect, and to seek truth. Today, let us step into his world of thought and uncover timeless lessons that can still guide us in the struggles of our modern lives. The true wisdom of life lies not in the endless pursuit of wealth, power, or recognition, but in the courage to turn inward, to examine the depths of your own soul, to confront your fears and desires, and to live in alignment with the truth you discover there. Do not waste your years chasing after pleasures that vanish like smoke in the wind, for true happiness is not found in what is consumed, but in the harmony between your actions, your principles, and the purpose that gives meaning to your existence. The greatest journey is not measured by miles across the earth, but by the steps you take into your own mind, where clarity is earned through questioning and where freedom is discovered through understanding. He who refuses to question his own beliefs will remain a prisoner forever, not held by iron chains, but by the invisible walls of ignorance and pride that he has built around himself. Do not envy the man who possesses riches and titles, for such things fade like shadows at sunset. Instead, honor the man who has conquered himself, his anger, his cravings, and his pride, for his strength will outlast kingdoms and time itself. A life without reflection is a wasted gift, for a man who does not pause to examine his thoughts and actions drifts like a ship without a rudder, carried by currents he never chose, and doomed to reach shores he never desired. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to step forward while fear still breathes in your chest. For every act of bravery transforms fear into strength and brings you closer to the person you were meant to become. Time is the most precious treasure given to us, more valuable than gold or kingdoms. And to waste it on trivialities is to throw away the very essence of life, which once gone, will never be restored. Do not let the noise of the masses dictate your path, for truth rarely shouts. It whispers softly to the soul that dares to listen in silence and act upon what it hears. The greatest strength is not in conquering cities or leading armies, but in conquering yourself, your impulses, your anger, your greed, and your vanity, for only then can you stand unshaken in a world of chaos. To know yourself is not a single discovery made once and for all, but a lifelong dialogue with your own heart and mind, where every season of life reveals a new truth, and every hardship becomes a mirror reflecting who you truly are. Beware of those who speak with certainty about all things, for wisdom begins in doubt, and only those who dare to question, to admit ignorance, and to seek patiently will ever taste the sweetness of truth. No man is truly free until he has freed himself from the chains of desire. For to be ruled by craving is to be ruled by a master more cruel than any tyrant the world has ever known. It is not the length of life that matters, but the depth of it. For a short life lived with clarity, purpose, and courage is richer than a long one, wasted in fear, confusion, and regret. Do not measure a man by how many victories he wins over others, but by how many battles he fights within himself, and whether he emerges with greater wisdom, humility, and peace. Silence is often a greater teacher than words, for in stillness you hear the whispers of truth, and in the quiet you learn what no noise could ever reveal. The man who fears death has not yet understood life, for death is not an enemy to be conquered, but a reminder that every breath is precious and every moment is a chance to live fully. Do not seek to escape suffering, for suffering is the forge that shapes character. Instead, seek to endure it with dignity, to learn from it with humility, and to rise from it with strength. A society is not judged by the wealth of its rulers or the splendor of its monuments, but by the justice it gives to its weakest members and the wisdom it passes on to its children. The man who lives for applause will die when the clapping stops, but the man who lives for truth will stand unshaken, whether the crowd cheers or falls silent. These words are not mere echoes from the past. They are signposts for our journey today. Socrates reminds us that wisdom, courage, and truth are not luxuries, but necessities for a meaningful life. If these ideas spoke to you, I invite you to return for the next chapter, where we will continue exploring timeless wisdom that can sharpen your mind and strengthen your spirit. Until then, hold fast to your dreams, question deeply, and live with purpose.